Well, thank you for joining me on my masterclass. Now, today I'm going to be taking a question from a guy called Montel. I actually responded to this question on social media. So if you follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you probably have seen my response to him. Now, this guy says he's read a lot of books, self-help books, generally leadership management books, but he doesn't remember what he's read. And I explained to him, you see, when we read it, a lot of people just tend to read and read and read and consume and consume and consume. Yes, the human brain can take a lot of information, but it cannot digest a lot of information. So it takes a lot of information, but it doesn't necessarily digest a lot of information. What you need to do is you need to reduce how you read. So rather than reading for long periods, you want to read uninterrupted for about 15 minutes. Uninterrupted for about 15 minutes. So when I say uninterrupted, undistracted, there's no sensory distraction. So there's no noise, there's no images, no smells. Just everything is just quiet, and then all the sensory things that might distract you are out of the picture. Now, when you do that, if you can read for 15 minutes, what happens is that what you're reading will travel from your, cerebral cortex down to your hippocampus, and the hippocampus is the part of the brain that deals with memory. And so whatever you're reading, it just goes down. So you think of your brain like a stomach that can only eat bite-sized food. And so the bite-sized food that it can eat is just 15 minutes of learning. And then you digest it. And then how do you digest it? After 15 minutes, what you want to do, you want to think about what you've read. If possible, you want to apply it. You want to put yourself in the situation of what you've read. And then it's forming, pictures. It's linking up in your hippocampus. And believe me, if you do this, you're never going to forget what you've read. I do this a lot. A lot of people, when I minister the word and then I'm able to quote, verses of scripture, a lot of people are surprised. They say how do you do this? How do you do this? The reason I'm able to do this is because of this application that I've just told you. Reading in bite-sized doses of 15 minutes. What you got to remember is that you have the human mind, which is different from the human brain. So we have to understand how the human brain operates, which is different again from your soulish realm. So the brain it's an organ. It's an organ. There's nothing spiritual about it. It's an organ. So you can't pray as a believer and think that what you've read you're going to remember. The scripture says that the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. One of the weapons of this our warfare, which are non-carnal, is wisdom, knowledge. So you find out as much as you can about the human brain, and then you put it into practice. So like I told you, 15 minutes undistracted, focused reading, it's called flow. When you can get into that, you get into a different level of understanding. My name is Reno Mokri, and I hope this has helped you.
But Reno travels all around the world. I hope you get inspired about what you see. Apostle of greatness, Reno is a master. Only one man against the whole world in large. Fighting with the monsters, poverty I can't stand. That's why Reno is